So standing start this morning. And as ever, we will have our friendly block towards the front of the mat. I'm just going to shake it out a little bit, standing start, as I said. So just wriggling from wrists and ankles. And just shaking it out a little bit, get some blood flowing around. Makes us to try and wiggle through the spine as well, just get those shoulders to move. Can be a regular sort of movement or irregular, doesn't really matter. And immediately you start to feel the breath coming a little deeper into the body, which is what we want to see, a sign of the blood moving around. You can throw some shapes in with your arms as well, if you wish to. 1980s dancing style. Maybe even take some twists in there as well. We'll start to becoming still. Gradually let that form over the body. We'll bring the hands in towards the heart, take a breath in, come into our first forward bend. So keeping the spine nice and long, flat as we go in. Just seeing how the legs feel as we come into that first bend. We take a lot of bend into the knees. Try and get the ribs and thighs close. Then we'll bring the hands onto the shins. Let ourselves lift up halfway. And exhale. Down to the floor. Come back up. And ease our way down. And a final time. We're stepping back from the down dog shape, just as a transition. So bring the knees down to the floor underneath the hips for cat-cow. We'll come straight into that, just drawing the chest forwards, rolling the shoulders back, and then getting that tilt into the pelvis and letting the spine lift. Early morning classes, you're definitely going to notice the difference between them and the evening classes when your body's had a chance to warm up and become mobile. We'll take it out to the side into some barrel rolling as well. Just working our way through. So get a little bit of movement laterally into the spine as well. Keeping the arms straight, so working a little bit more deeply into the shoulders, barreling around the shoulder joints as well. We'll take it in the opposite direction. And then we'll ease our way down into child's pose. So just take the knees a little wider and allow yourself to take the hands forwards, bring your forehead down to the ground. And keeping the elbows off the ground, we're going to lift up onto the fingertips. Just roll the armpits in towards the center line a little bit, down towards the floor. Begin to get a little bit of a stretch in the back of the shoulders. Nice steady long breaths, Feeling the lungs, feeling those ribs stretch out as well. We'll lift. Take that into a side bend over to the right. So feeling the intensity of the stretch down the side of the body on the left, all the way from the armpit, across the ribs, down to the lower back. We'll lift from here, take ourselves across to the opposite side. And bring that back into the center as well. Lift up onto all fours, just gently bringing ourselves back into a neutral spine. And bringing the knees underneath. Again, just stretch out the legs to say hello to those knees a little bit more. And then we'll take a little breath from here. I'm going to tuck the toes of the right foot underneath, lengthen that away. And then slowly press down into the left shin as the right leg comes up to that height of your hip. And bend your right knee. You still have to have a little flexed foot. You're going to draw the knee in towards the chest, around the spine. See how close that knee and nose can get. Interesting that they can touch in the evening, but miles away in the morning. Coming in for number 2. We'll take 5 of these for each side. Straight. And keeping the elbows straight, the body lifted. 4. And the last one. When you come down, reset neutral spine. Take that left leg out. Press down through the right. Lift. Keep the hips square and the pubic bone over the center line. Bend the knee. Keep the foot flexed a little bit and then draw that through. Trying to not only the knee and the nose touch, but also keep your heart, your navel, and your pubic bone over that center line of the mat, so not letting the hip hang out to the side too much. Obviously, you need to make a little bit of accommodations to get your knee through. And keep it to the minimum. I'll take the final squeeze in this leg. Bring the knee to the floor. Take a little breath. We'll tuck the toes underneath. Sit down onto the toes. A bit of weight in there. And then see if we can bring the hands back. So if you can't tolerate this, just keep yourself in that down position so you minimize the amount of weight you've got on your body. But if you're able to come up, then we'll just bring that into a gentle arm flow, lifting the hands above the head and bringing the hands through the heart as we exhale. Hands comes to the floor again. Onto all fours as we untuck toes the opposite way. And we'll tuck the toe of the right leg underneath as we send that back. And lift that again away from the floor, bending the knee. This time we'll take the left hand away from the ground. Just look at the fingers. Look and follow the hand towards the back of the mat. Find that foot. Then press the shin away as we open the chest to the long side. The Superman twists. And releasing. Bringing everything back down to the ground. Just in time to tuck the toes of the left foot underneath. Send that back. Lift. Bend your knee. Right arm extends out first. We swoop it out. Turn the body around. Find our foot. And then press away. So we're going to try and keep the knee same height as the hip. Pressing the shin lightly away so you're feeling the stretch a little bit in the shoulders. Keeping the belly drawn in, lifting the chest up and forwards and out. So you are arching the spine, but rather than squishing down, you're trying to lengthen it out. Now release from there as well. Bring the hands down to the floor. This time we'll come into down dog for a proper full bent down dog. So just walking the legs out, get to that nice position. And then letting ourselves walk the legs out if that feels good. Being still if needed. Making sure the hands are flat to the floor again, rotating the armpits a little bit into the ground. Getting used to the idea of drawing the belly in. Hands in towards the toes. We'll take that next forward bend. The hands onto the shins again. Lift up. Fold down. Onto the shins. Draw the belly in on the exhale, folding deep. Bring the hands onto the hips. Roll the shoulders and elbows back, and knees soft as we lift. We'll shake it out, just walking into the front of the mat. Arrive with feet parallel, hip distance apart. Take hands high on the breath in. Towards the heart and exhale down to the floor. And come up onto the fingertips. Lengthen the body forwards. Let the legs open out a little more as you press the feet down into the ground. And then exhale. Hold it. We'll take another breath and send the right foot to the back of the mat into lunge. Being on the fingertips. Make sure the front knee stays over the ankle. Taking a breath here and then drop the back heel into the center line of the mat, ready for warrior two. So we'll bring the hands onto the front thigh, keep it nice and easy. Turn the body out to the long side of the mat. Extend the hands out in line with the shoulders. Press evenly through the feet. We'll bring the hands back in towards the heart. Take them down to the floor. We'll step back into down dog. Lifting the hips up high and back. Come floating slowly into plank. We'll drop the knees to the floor, untuck the toes and sit back onto the heels into child's pose. Take a breath at the bottom. Press into the shins. On the exhale, drawing the belly in, let the spine round into that tabletop. Tuck the toes underneath, send the hips slowly back up into that down dog. And we'll scissor the right leg as we come up on the tippy toes of the left foot. Draw the knee in towards the chest. Bring that foot through to the front of the mat for lunge. Strong straight back leg pressing out. And we'll push off the toes into that forward bend. Hands onto the hips, and let ourselves lift. Do the whole thing again, over to the left, hands come high, through the heart. Soften the knees a little as you come into the forward bend. Fingertips to the left, draw the chest forwards, fold it down. On your exhale, take a breath, send the left leg back into lunge. Drop the heel to the center line. Hands onto that side and lift. And open up. Just turning the chest progressively more to the long side of the mat, tucking the tailbone under a little bit. Pressing the back foot down and feeling those inner groins working. Again, we'll bring the hands in towards the heart, down to the floor. Step it back into our down dog. Come forwards into the plank. Knees to the floor as we untuck the toes. Sit gently back. Use your exhale. Come back up to all fours. Toes underneath, send the hips back and up, slow and smooth. Start to scissor your left leg as you come up onto the right tippy toes. Pull the knee in towards your chest and bring the foot through. From lunge, we push off the back toes into the forward bend. Bring the hands onto the hips to lift up slowly. I'll take that a little further. Inhale high. Hands into the heart. And exhale down to the floor. I'm going to take the fingertip lift. Fold it in. Take a breath. Right leg back into lunge. Draw the heel in to warrior two. Use your lift. Inhale the hands high. Bring the hands gently down onto the inside of this front leg. Slide the back foot a little further back. Allow yourself to stretch that foot away. You're going to turn the front foot out to about 45 degrees and let the knee hang out to the side a little. And then once you've done that, draw the left elbow up as you start to turn the chest to that left side. And then simply extend the hand up towards the sky. Now bring the hand down, bring the foot back into parallel. Step back into our down dog. And forwards into the plank. We'll take half plank and up dog this time. But if you're not feeling it, that child's pose is still there. If you're with me, move gently back into down dog. Couple of breaths here. We can scissor the right leg, tippy toe the left, knee in towards the chest for a lunge. Press off the toes of the back foot. Hands onto the hips and the lift. So final side, inhaling up. All the way down to the ground. Use your breath in to lift. Forward it down. Take a breath, send the left foot back, and drop the heel in. Hands onto the front side and lift up. Two to the arms floating high. Rotating and bring the hands down to the floor. The back foot further away on the mat. Spin on the front heel, let the knee hang out. Start to draw the right elbow high and then extend the hand out. And try to keep that back leg as straight as you can. And pressing down into the bottom hand to lift the chest as high as possible. Bring hands to the floor. Stepping back into the down dog. And forwards into the plank, half plank, an up dog, or the child version. Back into the dog for a couple of breaths. More scissor, the left foot lean towards the chest, into the lunge, push off the toes, forward bend, that feels the lift, and shake it out. Now step about midway down the mat. Have the feet a few inches apart. Bring the hands in towards your heart. Soften the knees over the toes. Start to sit back as if we're coming into chair pose. We're not going to come all the way. Now see if you can pick a point a couple of feet in front of your mat. Keep your eyes more or less glued out there. Now slowly transfer the weight into that left leg. Lift the right knee. Allow yourself to hinge forwards into a warrior three pose. Now you're going to soften the knee that you're standing on as far as you can, and then slowly press it back up as straight as you can. And then we'll come back down again. And press away. And then we'll come back down again. Ooh, find the time. And bring yourselves back up. Slowly lift the body. Bring the foot back down to the floor. So you may well have wobbled more than a few times like I did. Had to put your toe down or even your hands. It's all part of the process. And then we'll see if we can take 3 of those little curtsies from warrior 3 to the opposite side. So soften the knees again over the toes. Make sure the feet are parallel. Really does help with stopping the body floating around too much. We sit down, draw the belly in, shift the weight into the right. Knee lifts on the left, hinge forwards. Lengthen out through that leg. And soften the knee. And try to lift back up. And soften the knee. And lift back up. And soften the knee again. And let ourselves come back up. And then see if we can hinge slowly to bring the body back up. Whew. And just shake out those legs. Suit the hands high. Take a little back bend. Bring the hands in towards the heart as we breathe in. Hinge at the hips. You can walk the fingers halfway up towards the front of the mat, and feet halfway back, the back of the mat for down dog. We'll take a little breath from there, come forwards again into our plank. Everyone takes half plank and up dog. And now we're going to take the scissors to the right leg. Allow ourselves to bend the knee and bring the heel in towards the bottom. Then we'll turn the hips out to the side a little bit to lift the knee just that little higher. And then draw the knee towards the ribs coming forwards. Underneath the body. Lengthen back out. Scissor the legs high. Bend the knee. Flex the foot. Roll the hip out again. Bring the knee out to the side. Roll it underneath the body. Scissor the leg and open out to the sky. Allow yourself to bend the knee again. Flexing the foot. Roll the hip. Take it out to the side. Try and keep those both arms as straight as you can. Scissor for the last time to the sky. Bring your foot gently back down to the floor. We'll take the opposite three. So scissoring. Left leg high. Bend the knee. Flex the foot. Roll the hips. That's when you need to just check your arms, stay strong. On the opposite side, draw the knee in towards the chest and under, through, scissor to the sky, and your knee, flex, open the hips, roll it out, and under, scissor high, draw the heel in. Last time coming out to the side. Scissor high. Coming back down. Finding the feet sliding away from me. Nice us to come back in to all fours. Down to child's pose. This time we'll take the hands underneath the forehead and elbows out to the side, let the shoulders relax a little bit. So should be feeling a little bit warmer and a little bit warmed up as well. Let ourselves lift from there. And we'll come up onto all fours. You can take a what I would call a low pigeon. So we're just going to draw the left knee forwards and then allow ourselves to sit down onto that heel as we walk the back foot away. And come up onto the fingertips. Draw the belly in a little bit so you can get a sense of lifting your body up out of the pelvis. You feel the buttocks engage a little bit. They should be active rather than soft. Press into the shin of the back leg and lengthen that away. You'll feel that buttock rise. You can press into the lower shin. You'll feel your quads engage as well as your buttocks. And then getting that little bit of lift out of the pelvis, you'll find the sort of the top part of the glutes activating as well. Bring hands to the ground. Set the toes, step it back into down dog, stretch out the legs, hips. Just like a long clench in the buttocks. Probably the only easy way of describing it. Bring it back into the plank, bring the knees to the ground underneath. Slide the right leg forwards this time. Walk the left foot back as far as you can. Sitting onto the heel. Draw the belly in, lift up onto the fingertips again. And start the whole process off of pressing the shins into the floor, lifting the body out of the pelvis. Bring the hands back down. Allows us to move into that down dog again, just for a little stretch out of the legs. Go forwards again, bring the knees to the ground and just swivel the feet out to the sides. We come into a seated posture, bringing the block underneath our bottoms. Then the legs lengthen out. I'll take the left leg under and out to the right hip. So the knees pointing forwards, and bring the right foot across. And I'm not going to worry too much about the rotation. I'm trying to get it to hook this front leg towards my body. So I'm going to sort of bring that into the elbow crease and then draw the knee towards me. I'm also going to try and push the lower spine forwards a little bit, so I get a little bit of tilt forwards in the pelvis. And I'm getting sort of a bit of a twist, but it's sort of a only a half twist, I guess, into the body. I'm starting to feel the stretch a little bit more down the side T-band area here. And obviously the effort of keeping the spine up. Using the rear hand just placed on the base of the spine, so I know that I can keep the front shoulders nice and open. And then release. Untangle the legs. And take it over to the second side. Again, trying to have the knee high, wrap the arm around, and onto the back of the spine. Just tilt the pelvis forwards a little bit. Draw the knee in towards the body. And then we can release from there as well. Putting the legs back out in front, we'll bring the feet onto the center line, so those legs are pinned together. We'll bring the right heel into the groin and knee out to the side, a little bend into the knees. We'll square the hips towards the front of the mat, bring the hands on the shin. Get some space, roll the shoulders back. Allow yourself to slide the hands down your shin. Ease your body towards your thigh. And then if you're able to, just slowly taking your hands over the top of that foot and actually drawing the foot towards you with your hands. So you're pulling back a little bit and then lifting the chest up and out. So we came down first, but now we're lifting a little more up and forwards. Belly's drawn in. And we can release from there. Ourselves come back up. Take the feet out again, down the center line of the mat, sitting tall. Left heel comes in. A little bend in the knee. Square up again if you need to, moving. And then allow yourself to hinge. And slide. And hands down the shin. Again, we'll take the hands up and over onto the foot. Draw that back. And then get a slight lift in the chest again. Forwards and up. Just using the hands lightly to pull the foot towards us. You'll increase the stretch down the back of your calf and your hamstring. So the leg doesn't have to be straight for that to achieve a good stretch. Release from there as well. Now I'm going to come back down to the ground. I'm going to have the block behind the head as well. So knees high, hands behind, chin towards the chest. Use your arms to help roll your spine gently down, as well as your abs. Allow each bone to come down gently. Have the block underneath your head. Wiggle your shoulders out, get a nice long flat spine, and wiggle the toes and heels in close to your bottom on that center line. We'll take a figure four to start with. So we'll extend the left leg to the sky, turn the toes out, and bring the ankle bone to the outside of the thigh and toes towards your knee. As you draw your belly down towards your spine and the spine to the floor, lift onto the tippy toe of that right foot, and then allow the knee to gently come in. You'll take your left hand through the center, right hand around the outside of the right thigh. And you're either holding on to the shin or the back of the hamstring. Neither is better than the other. They're just, whether they're accessible or not. We're trying to keep the spine long and the tailbone on the ground. So we can press the shoulders lightly to the floor and the tailbone and the middle lower back. Release. Extend that leg to the sky. A little shake out. Bring that foot down. Take the opposite leg up. Turn the toes out. And the knee as you breathe in. Use the exhale. Flexing the foot. Sending the knee forwards. Tippy toe. Left side. Draw everything in your body down towards the floor. And then allow yourself to bring the hands in. You don't have to get to the same place in terms of your holding position and the poses, whatever's accessible to you. Remember that spine is long and flat. We'll try to press the shoulders lightly down and hold the spine all the way to the tailbone. from there as well. From that leg up, give it a shake. Take the arms out wide. Shimmy the hips over towards the left. Extend the left leg to the sky. Turn the toes out. Bring that leg back into the figure four. Only this time we're going to roll the legs over towards the right. Very gradually, trying to keep the shoulders on the ground. Using the exhale until we can bring what was our left foot over to the right side, touching the ground. The knee as high as to the sky as possible. So for me, I'm pressing the knee lightly towards the front of the mat. Feel the outer hip muscles, outer thigh muscles engage. Roll that back up. Come back into the center. Extend the leg out, give a little shake. Take that to the second side. So right leg lifts, rotate. Figure four. Nice flex foot. That right knee travels away a little. Once you get to the starting place, you use your exhale to gradually roll over. The opposite side. Kind of remembered to mention shimmying your hips over towards the right side, but hopefully you did. And bring everything back. Stretch out the legs, bring the spine back into the center. Slide the heels gently out to the corner edges of the mat. Hands a little closer to the side of the body. You want a little bit of a gap so you can let the air flow around the body nicely, including underneath the armpits. Soften your jaw, closing your eyes. A little wriggle through your fingers and toes. And just breathe easy. Gently starting to stretch those fingers and toes. Let the wrists and ankles join in. So just reconnect the body with the breath. And when you're ready, allow yourself to stretch out in any way that feels good. Slide the heels along the ground towards you. Let the knees easily come in towards your body. Gentle hug, rock and roll, stir the knees, whatever feels good, as long as it's soft and gentle. Take a little breath from there and roll easily on the exhale over towards the left. Take a breath, use the hands to press into the floor, and the exhale to spin back up. Consider. Sitting tall, bring the hands in towards the heart as we take a breath in, eyes closed. And then use that exhale to let the chin gently drop in towards the chest. Begin the bow softly towards the floor, seeing the practice. Using the breath to come back in and build the spine for you. Lifting the head, open the eyes, seeing clearly. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. Easter Monday. Hope to see you on a mat again soon.